Hello and welcome to the Battle of Central Europe Season 3 here on HeflaTV HB1. This is going to be the lower bracket finals here between Virtus.pro Polar and Lajons. I'm Grandis Field, I'll be one of your casters, and I'll be joined throughout this series by Mike Loris.
10 seconds to
Yeah,
go.
so both these two teams have come quite a long way, and this is maybe the last series that these two teams play from in this tournament, or maybe the winner, whoever it is going to be lucky enough to face Hellraisers in the finals and try to go for the big cash. It's going to be really hard for both, as Hellraisers had Virtus.pro Polar's number for quite a long time, and I think most people would favor Hellraisers over Lions most days of the week, but that's for later. That's for tomorrow. Right now, we got Lions versus VP Polar, and we have a pretty balanced opening from both sides. Each side has their stun, and they have a pretty potent core hero.
Yeah, for Virtus.pro Polar, that's going to be Ogre Magi and Slark to open things off, a pretty standard opener for them, and for Lions, it's going to be the Vengeful Spirit and the Razor. A little surprised that they didn't go for the puck in the second picking slot. It did slip through on that first banning stage and was available for them, but they decided against it. Razor against Slark is always nice to have in your disposal, however.
Yeah, that's fine. Puck is going to get some attention anyway, as he is going to be banned out, and we have a lot of carry hate from the VP Polar side. Looks like they don't really want to let Lions take this game into a super late stage with, well, Faceless Void, Anti-Mage, and then a previous Lycan being banned out, whereas Lions are more concerned about Virtus.pro's early game, and I think that's well warranted. It's going to slow down Virtus.pro Polar not having the Jakiro or the puck, but Zeus is sometimes all you need to lay the smack down in the early stages, and it's a pretty good one at that. But Lions, they grab the Visage, and, well, last time they didn't necessarily go for the Drow Ranger. Now I'm pretty sure it's going to happen.
It definitely feels that way. There's not really another way about it, and it's just something they're so comfortable running. Ira's Dro definitely works out for Lions, and their just playstyle is really conducive to a really high damage and quite soft lineup. They're really good at getting in, getting out, and taking objectives while they're at it. So, I like this choice by them. Even though Slark is really nice to have up against a Dro, a nice hero to get up into her face with the Blink Pounce, and even the Dark Pact to get off that silence, it's still a valid option for Lions, and I'd like to see them go for it.
Up until they decide to change their mind and go for a Spirit Breaker and then a Storm Spirit. That's what they did last time, and that would be actually not terrible. It wouldn't be as flashy. It's definitely not as much of a pocket strat as it was in game number 2 of their match between themselves and basically Unknown or Aftershock, but Lions have veered off from this type of path in the past, and it is always a possibility. Slark is, as you said, a really good hero versus Drow Ranger. Zeus is as well. Ogre Magi is decent enough, so Virtus.pro Polar, they intentionally or not, have already some pretty nice counters to the Drow Ranger. That being said, Lions have more or less the ideal Drow Ranger lineup so far.
Yeah, minus the puck. I'm going to try recalling you since the quality on call is a little bit poor, so hang tight while we do that, but for now, Virtus.pro Polar are going to snag themselves an IO with the Slark. It is a pretty potent ganking combination to put a lot of pressure on the enemy side early on. So, let's see if this recall is going to work out for us. Let me just make sure that everything's all online, and do I have Mike Loris back here?
Yes, although maybe not properly. My internet's just messing up or something today. I don't know what's going on.
Okay, this is serviceable. Hopefully it doesn't get any worse. Lions do end up going for that Drow Ranger, so no big surprises there. Always hoping for something a little bit out of the ordinary for that 5th pick. But right now, anything that's going to offer them some nice AoE teamfight control would be wonderful for them. Maybe even a Centaur, if they want to go for more of a pick-off style of play. But Tidehunter, I think, is usually the hero to round out this lineup.
Yeah, both those heroes are perfectly reasonable for Lions, or they might want to just go Glass Cannon 5 range, which is not exactly the best. I generally don't like it when teams tend to go for that route, but Virtus.pro Polar, they're going to grab the IO as their secondary support. As far as getting in the face of Drow Ranger, it is a nice hero to have in helping to assist with that. Do you think the Slark is going to be that partner, though? Because it's not the strongest combination, it's fine, but I don't really know if that's what they want to be doing.
I think it is, but I also wouldn't be opposed to them going for something else. Their lanes would be a little bit awkward if they didn't have that IO partnered up with the Slark, and they picked up something, let's see. Maybe a Bristleback could be worthwhile for Virtus.pro Polar to go for if they don't want to just outright partner that Slark with the IO, but I'm kind of getting that vibe.
Yeah, I think Bristleback is actually pretty sweet here. It's another hero that could just charge forward, at the Drow Ranger, not really care about his well-being because he's very tanky and he has backup right behind him. So that would be a not terrible pick for Virtus.Pro Polar if they want to go down that route as well. Is my mic still sounding okay?
It's much better now.
Okay.
There is 2-minute delay, so unfortunately there was about 2 minutes of sketchy mic, but it's better now. Hopefully it holds.
All right, so, and if not, I'll just have to restart my computer or something, and you have to take it a little bit by yourself. But the pick that you were mentioning before is not going to be the case for Lions. It's going to be Virtus.Pro Polar to grab the Centaur War Runner, almost guaranteeing the Slark IO as the main combination. But then Lions, their last pick, going to be that Timbersaw. So deciding against the Tidehunter. In fact, I don't think Tidehunter was banned out either. So no Tidehunter love in this game, just that Timbersaw.
Yeah, which is really interesting. It is sort of opting for just an all-out damage draft, but Timbersaw can tank up a decent amount in the front lines, and potentially this game will look towards the pipe, because the magic burst coming out from VP.P is quite intense, so maybe we're not going to see the Bloodstone build, but even if he goes for it, if Jonas Sunfan has a good time, he definitely can snowball in this hero. We've seen it before. Either way, on the Radiant side is going to be Lions, playing with Jonas Sunfan on that Timbersaw. Mid lane, we're going to have Razor, handled by Ape Mother, and the safe lane Tri-lane will be Handskin, handling the Visage, Vengeful Spirit by Seal Kid, and Drow Ranger by Ira.
And for Virtus.Pro Polar, FNG is going to be on the Ogre Magi, going up towards top with DK Phobos on the Zeus. Lil is going to be on the Io with Illidan on the Slark, both going mid, and Mag is going to be playing the Centaur War Runner off lane. Looks like he's going to be going up against a dual lane, and the Centaur probably isn't going to have a good time with that. Hell, just with Drow Ranger alone in a lane isn't necessarily the best for Centaur.
Yeah, if it's Drow Ranger solo, sometimes you can trade hits if you're actually able to find an angle to do so, but yeah, this lane should be completely on lockdown for Alliance, and the Venge is potentially going to set up some kills up in the top lane. Safe lane farming Zeus, not exactly what I was expecting Virtus.Pro Polar to go for. The dual lane mid, however, should be handling themselves pretty well, but honestly I think I'm just going for the Zeus mid and safe lane farming Slark. It would have been a little bit safer for them.
Yeah, that being said, Ape Mother is loading out with the magic stick, so he certainly expects there to be a Zeus, and only a Zeus in the mid lane, so he's going to not get that much value off of the magic stick. In fact, it probably won't even get more than like 4 charges reasonably. So that's not going to be the best for the Razor, but still, it's a Razor. And well, let's hold on, because bottom rune, it's going to be a double damage grabbed by Illidan. No, Seal Kid grabbed it, but he's still in heaps of trouble. Anyway, he's going to be beaten down. He got pounced, and then he got ignited. Not good times for the Venge. I guess he denied that double damage, but that's not worth the death.
For sure, and it's something that a lot of supports do go for as solo, and you don't necessarily expect the enemy team to be there in that much force, but it works out wonderfully for Virtus.Pro Polar. The last hit goes to the Ogre. That's a pretty decent hero to pick up that extra gold. That's going to be early boots for FNG.
And that's going to be just so dangerous. Having an Ogre load out with a bootless build and then grab the boots anyway is so freaking dangerous. And if he does get anything else going, maybe he could pick up an Orb of Venom and try to just apply more and more pressure to his lanes. Already he's starting on Jonas and Fan, dropping him down pretty darn low, forcing out some regeneration without really committing much of anything. So that's going to be that. But over towards mid, Illidan's going to take a Magic Missile and drain 21 damage. One more hit, not quite going to do it. Lil with the quick tether bottle is going to save Illidan, and that's going to mean that Slark gets to live for now, but he is also currently without regeneration. Has a bottle on Lil, but that's it.
Even with just the Razor here, it's not the greatest of lanes. Down at bottom, Mag's not having a great time either, and Virtus.Pro Polar, it kind of feels like they've shot themselves in the foot with this lane situation. I'm not sure they're going to be able to accomplish much, even after the first blood. It just kind of feels like their lanes are kind of locked in place. They're going to Jonas Sunfan. It looks like they'll be able to secure the kill. Timberchain away, dies in the middle of it. The Ogre Magi and his Ignite burn damage.
Well, I mean, they are not doing fantastically in the lanes, but they're still finding a couple of kills. 2 kills now on their team, and that's pretty good for less than 2 minutes in the game. So maybe they could keep themselves afloat with the deficiency in CS with just hero kills, and sometimes that's just the way it goes. For Lions, you would kind of expect the Timbersaw on the offlane to be dying a couple of times, but not really like that. FNG has gone for the Orb of Venom, and pretty much right now the top lane should be more or less on lockdown by DK Phobos. Once Zeus gets level 5, then it'll be almost completely on lockdown.
Yeah, there's not much that the Timbersaw can do in that situation, even with just level 3. Jonas Sunfan has to be so careful. He's going to put some pressure on a DK Phobos with a Timber Chain through and an auto attack, but honestly, it's not a damage trade he can really look to do. He goes for it again. DK Phobos hasn't thrown out anything in return. The Orgmagi is not anywhere close, so Jonas Sunfan does come out on top in that damage trade, and is going to be able to hold on to most of his regeneration. It's okay for the Timbersaw, and it's definitely not the end of the world, but he would like to make sure he doesn't die another time, at the very least.
Getting into a fist fight with FNG is not a great way to start that out. Timber chain through, not really going to do that much. Now Jonas Fan going to get into a fist fight that he's ultimately not really going to win, assuming the FNG has help, which currently doesn't. Jonas Fan might get one more Timber chain, he will do it, and he will get the kill. Where the hell is Zeus? Zeus was slacking near the tower.
Yeah, that was really awkward. I mean, it's a fight that neither hero really feels incredibly comfortable taking. Timbersaw just eking ahead of that Orgmagi. And now with level 4, it's going to be a lot more comfortable to Jonas Sunfan to look for those engagements now that he does have that point into Whirling Death. If he does have a full mana pool, that is. So yeah, it's going to be the Timbers getting a little bit more out of this lane than he probably should have after that awkward exchange. Centaur Warner not having a great time at all. Only level 2 and almost level 3 here being zoned out by the Venge and being able to put no pressure onto this Dro. Ira's having a great time down in the bottom lane. They are going to go yet again. They've pounced down onto Ape Mother. They will stun up with the Fire Blast and bring down the Razor very easily. FNG has been roaming very effectively across this map. Wherever he goes, he seems to find kills.
The classic invisibility rune IO gank. It's certainly unexpected by the Razor. You don't really expect a Slark to suddenly pounce onto you as a Razor. It just doesn't happen. But having Lil right behind him with the extra tether slow, with the extra ball damage, and FNG also, wherever he goes, death follows, is making it so that Virtus Pro Polar are actually doing very well right now in this lane stage. They're going to do a little better, though, if they find Handskin, and they will very quickly pick off the Visage. Gus coming through, Mag one shot, not going to do it. Now the neutral deny will happen. Centaur War Runner down, but the best way he can. Illidan may not be as lucky, though. Plasma Field will kill him off, and that's going to be a 2-for-1 in the end, as, well, FNG and DK Phobos get a kill up on top. Once again, it's Jonas and Panafall.
Across the whole map, it's a 2-for-2, and looking pretty good for both sides. Okay, so right now I think you should probably look for a restart, maybe even of your PC or router.
Okay.
Because the mic just isn't working out. So for now, unfortunately, it's going to be a little bit of a solo cast while we try to work things out. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see if we can get everybody on the line. For now, both sides playing decently passively. The level 6s from both of the offlaners haven't come out, and there's no immediate trigger for aggression from either side. Lions, once they're able to find a couple of kills, can very easily transition into tower pushes just with the raw amount of damage that they're able to put out. Currently an incredibly aggressive build coming out from the Dro. Traded blows in mid, Seal Kid and Ape Mother, as well as the Slark and Io. Really nobody coming out clearly ahead. Timbersaw, once he gets his level 6, can look for kills feasibly onto this top lane. The Zeus was forced out previously out of the lane, but now with level 5, Zeus might look for some rotations, especially if a rune presents itself. That's conducive to ganking, invis or haste, what have you. But for now, we're just kind of chilling, and I think the status quo favors Lions. They're just getting a lot more out of this map. Mac taking a lot of damage from Ira. If that was a level 6 Draw Ranger, maybe that's even a kill, especially if the Visage is close by. But for now, it's 10 situations in pretty much all of these lanes. Magic Missile in mid, disjointed, but Illidan still dropping incredibly low. Can't feel comfortable at all in this amount of HP. They'll look down towards bottom to pick up the 6-minute rune. Seal Kid, without much mana at all, probably can't kill off this Slark, and we'll bring in the Grave Chill. It's going to keep Handskin safe. They secure the bounty rune for Lil. Both the Io and the Slark are going to be healed up. There is going to be Wave of Terror canceling one of the bottle charges, but there's still 2 to work with, which is plenty for VP.P. Especially once you get level 6 onto Illidan. Sustain is not going to be a problem for these 2 heroes. He'll drop a pack to kill off a couple of creeps. Invis on Ape Mother is not spot out. Will open up with a link onto Lil. Lil being chunked down, but not fast enough. The Plasma Field does do him in. However, the return coming out from the Orgmagi, as well as the Zeus ultimate, will be the end of Razor's life as he goes aggressive in the mid lane. Not something you necessarily expect as the IO, but it's going to be a trade that VP.P are going to be very happy with taking. Mostly because it's the Razor to die, but he does get quite a bit of gold and buys out before he falls, so I suppose it's not the end of the world for both teams. A nice assist for Zeus, but since he didn't get that kill, I think it's perfectly acceptable for Lions. Either way, Jonas Sunfan and TK Phobos going toe-to-toe up in the top lane, and Jonas Sunfan can't really take this fight. He has stick charges, but that doesn't make up for the fact that Zeus is absolutely dishing, and is going to have maxed out Bolt very soon. Looking towards bottom, Ira is in potentially a bit of trouble. They are looking for some sort of wraparound, but without Stampede, Connecting up with this Draw Ranger is going pretty difficult. They are going to open up onto F and G, and it looks like this bait might work out under the tower. They turn for the Fire Blast, but it's going to be fogged by Era. Turns for the Gust, only lands onto Mag. Turning for one more Frost Arrow. It's not enough. The Ignite's going to land onto the Draw Ranger, trying to kite away between this Ogre as well as Mag. It's just not going to happen. Era is going to be run down. In the meantime, the Slark killed off the Razor with some help from the Io. Era going to look for the Gust, running into the Roshan pit. Fire Blast and one more auto attack from FNG. It's going to be the end of his life. This Ogre has been doing a whole heap of work for his Pro Polar, 4, 1, and 2 across the map. So he's going to die up towards top with a nice rotation of Seal Kid as well as Handskin, opening up with the Magic Missile. A lot of burst damage coming out from these three, especially when you look at such a fragile target as the Zeus. Going to be a nice little victory for Lions. Even though they lose their Drow, they strike back in kind. 8 Mother in the mid isn't dominating this lane by any means, trading pretty evenly if you compare the farm directly between him and Illidan. And as far as immediate impact is concerned, I think the Slark is going to have a greater one than this Razor. Currently with 3 points up to the Plasma Field, 3 up into the Link as well. It's okay, but honestly, this Razor could have been a whole lot of different heroes. You kind of pick this hero to win the lane, and he's just not doing it right now. Lions working with an extra 24 damage, especially I would have thought that the Razor would be doing a little bit more. In the meantime, however, they're going to pounce onto Seal Kid. They'll drop the ultimate from Illidan Storm Rage, turn to Missile up Lil with the Link going through the entirety of this. It's a whole lot of damage thrown by 8 Mother. Seal Kid dropping low, Stampede to disengage. Everybody on Lions is going to survive, and VP Polar do lose their support. Meantime, Centaur going to be able to connect with that Visage kill, some help from the friendly Ogre Magi, and he's really keeping Virtus Pro inside this game, or controlling the pace of the game just as a single support, which is incredible, but something that Ogre can do. He's going for more of a sustained damage. It's up towards top. DK Phobos as well as Joan Sunfan looking for a damage trade. He's going to pop the stick charges. Chakram cooling down, but can't go for anything. That Thunderbolt chunks him down low. Yeah, if he hits that chakra, maybe there's some killing potential. Either way, he's going to go back to base where Seal Kid already is. Zeus ultimate on cooldown for 50 seconds. If not, it would have been a pretty clean kill onto the Timber Saw as he tries to retreat. And that is something that Lions do need to be very wary of. Era now with 3 Wraith Bands, 1 tied up inside that Aquila, going to be giving a lot of damage to himself and everybody else on the team. Part of the Timber Saw, of course, but Timber really doesn't need that extra damage. Isn't going to be right-clicking much anyway, whenever he has those chakrams out. Still a fairly low action game, all things considered. Tier 1 tower down towards bottom in deny range. Looks like that is going to be taken out by Virtus Pro Polar. The Draw Ranger nowhere close, and honestly shouldn't be. So it is going to be taken out in mid. Ultimate pop by Illidan Storm Rage to go aggressively again onto 8 Mother, and 8 Mother is going to fall for the 4th time this game. 3, 4, and 0. Razor just isn't able to find anything with the dime bottom. Virtus Pro Polar finding quite a bit, but game's still not out of reach. Lions still have a pretty nice amount of gold on this Draw Ranger, and that's going to be put to better use than the gold on the Zeus. Looks like the build for him is going to be Yule's Scepter. And honestly, really haven't felt this Zeus's presence. Usually when he's played as mid-hero, you look for a very active Zeus that looks for those roams and the ganks, trying to get kills on the enemy team, and that's just not really possible. There's not a clear place for him to roam. Illidan looking for blood, has a pounce available. Stampede going to be used to go down in bottom. They found themselves a double stomp on the Era as well as Handskin with the double edge. The Visage Drow obliterated. I thought they were going on top, but with Relocate, that global ganking presence is always there, and they're going to be able to connect with some really high priority kills. Versus Pro Polar, I think this is kind of the plan. Whenever you have that Relocate as well as that Stampede up and running, go for it. 8 Mother and mid might be in some trouble as Illidan as well as Lil are coming in hot pursuit, but they won't go for the pouncer. Maybe they will. That could be a mistake. Lil currently caught out in a very awkward situation. They'll double multicast onto 8 Mother. The Io is going to get all of his damage in. They do Grave Chill up Illidan. Flying through, Ignite's going to slow down Handskin. Both teams are going to be just fine for now, as Handskin doesn't find any targets connect with that Soul Assumption. A very awkward fight, if you can even call it that. Just the posturing from both teams was not really clean at all. Illidan, with his ultimate, can look to jump into 8 Mother, but honestly, it's unlikely he's able to get that kill. Blink Dagger on the Centaur is still a long time incoming, and Lions really not looking for any blinks for themselves. Draw Ranger maybe down the line if she really wants to go for split pushing, and in the meantime, my goodness, that Visage obliterated. Mag able to find another kill under his belt. Zeus snags it with the ultimate, but that's completely acceptable. Let's see if he's able to make his retreat. Mag going to be fighting up against Seal Kid. They'll open up with the Magic Missile, bring in heroes from the sidelines. Era looking for the slow with the Frost Arrows, and the Chakram is slow on top of it. It's going to be Razor to get that kill. 1 for 1 favoring them, but now with the pounce going forward onto 8 Mother with a 2 times multicast. That's going to the end of Razor's life. DD Illidan doing a lot of work, looking for Seal Kid, going to purge off that slow, but the Timber Chain coming through as well as that whirling. That's going to put an end to Slark's life. Turning for some slows coming out from Era. He needs some backup, and he needs it now. Little Timber Chain over the top. Soul Assumption into Little Low going to fall. Now FNG completely alone with his fresh familiars. Dropping once, dropping twice. They'll turn into him, and FNG is going to fall. He didn't get the double multicast on Era, but the Urn and Ignite ticks. It's enough. An absolute bloodbath in the Radiant jungle. A 3-for-4 trade. All said and done, I think that favors Lions, and the numbers are going to agree with me very heavily. In fact, just because of how far behind, quote-unquote, they were for that engagement. Mostly some gold into the Timbersaw and Visage's pockets. Timbersaw is well on his way towards whatever item he wants to go for, and maybe Joel Sunfan is going to rush a Blink Dagger for him. Not sure if I'd like that choice, but looks like that's kind of the logical one if he is going to hold on to this much gold. Maybe a really hard split-pushing build with the Boots of Travel, but still have yet to see. Illidan still sitting on quite a bit of gold himself. The item progression on either team is coming, but slowly. Eul Scepter on the Zeus's ultimate medallion on the Visage. Nothing too crazy. DK Phobos is going to be clearing out a stack with a little bit of help from Lil. Is very doable. Hopefully I get Mike Loris in here quickly. And it looks like he has reconnected. So hopefully we can get it back into the call. ASAP. That would be very nice. Either way. Smoke down in bottom from Mag as well as FNG. They have Stampede as well as some global presence coming out from the Zeus. With that global ulti, they probably will be able to kill anybody if they isolate them alone or even in a two-man squad. Right now there's just nobody close. The Radiant jungle is being invaded by VP.P, but Lions aren't farming there at all. So FNG and Mag, this rotation isn't going to be fruitful, at least for now. They're going to be spotted out by a handful of familiars. Now FNG in a heap of trouble. Magic Missile, they have the Soul Assumption. That's going to be the end of the Ogre's life.
Alright, hopefully it's fine.
That's much better. Oh my goodness.
Okay. So I guess just I gotta restart the computer. Standard IT support stuff. Have you tried turning it off and turning it back on again? 9 times out of 10 it'll fix the problem, and well, it looks like the game is still actually pretty close. Seal Kid though, game beat down by Roshan, dropping very low. He will be a casualty guaranteed. Gust, a little bit too late to save everyone as they're gonna collapse onto the poor supports, and now Era trying to TP out. He is not going to get out of there alive with a hoof stomp. He will take a fall. Here comes 8 Mother, a little bit late to the party. In fact, very late to the party. He's going to not get his hands onto the relocated targets. Era's going to respawn, but they're also going to catch Jonathan Fan. At the meantime, FNG got to run from this Timbersaw. He's going to spot the 2 teleportations coming in, so now they really don't want to be fighting. Missed Gust right now, and a Blink Pounce going to very quickly kill off that Timbersaw. Now into Era they go. Or maybe 8 Mother. They're going to fall back instead. Familiar's doing quite a bit of work, and they will be able to they will be enough to kill off the IO. Era being chased down by Mag. At the same time, 8 Mother being beaten down by the Ogre and Illidan both. They will get that kill. Now onto the Drow Ranger. After all said and done, that was a full 5-man team wipe in favor of VP Polar, plus they take out the Aegis.
An absolute bloodbath, my goodness. All they lose is the IO on top of it. That fight inside the Roshan pit was really sketchy for Lions. The Zeus ultimate doing a number on them, and just the ability of Virtus Pro to jump on them wherever. With that Thunder God's Wrath as well as the relocate is quite impressive. Either way, Virtus Pro Polar aren't going to be able to take any immediate objectives off of this, but it is quite a victory. If you look at the numbers, 4,000 gold in their favor and similar lead in the experience.
And it's going to get a lot scarier now that the Centaur Warrunner has his Blink Dagger, so he can very easily get in and start those fights, or blink into a hoof stomp into a relocate, so that they don't have to rely on the enemies being in a terrible position in order to get those fights going. Lions, their positioning was bad for several reasons. First of all, they were in a corner, couldn't go anywhere. Also, the tanky heroes, the heroes that they're supposed to be hiding behind, the Timbersaw and Razor, they weren't there. So it was just the fragile, the soft parts of Lions, and that's probably the worst positioning possible. Maybe next fight they'll just have better positioning and they'll outright win the fight, since they're still getting quite a bit of damage from this Drow Ranger. Max out Aura, currently going to give everyone 45.
Which is quite crazy, especially when you do have those familiars dropped onto somebody with the minus armor coming out from the wave, as well as from the medallion on the Visage. People are going to be dropping like flies. Right now, there's nobody that's equipped to survive that. Centaur might be able to if Return's doing enough damage to the familiars so that they die before they're able to kill the Centaur himself, but even that's unlikely. Tier 1 tower up top is going to be taken very easily from Lions, even though they lose the last major scale engagement.
Well, with all that plus 45 damage goodness, they're going to very easily be able to take down towers if Virtus Pro Polar don't want to contest. And right now, they don't really have enough heroes up there. Mag, though ready to fight, is nowhere near the right area. And also the Zeus isn't in the proper position either. So VP, they're going to sacrifice one tower. Not really going to be a terribly huge deal, though they are falling behind as far as the towers are concerned. Lions, seems like while I was gone, have been doing quite a bit of pushing.
Yeah, they definitely have, and they've succeeded in getting those objectives, but the end goal just doesn't seem super clear since they are taking these really sketchy trades when it comes to the actual heroes falling. So we'll have to see how that's going to translate later in the game. Slark sitting on a hand of Midas is going to explode in farm as this game progresses later and has a lot of backup behind him between Bloodlust as well as the IO and these Overcharge.
And that's a very dangerous prospect. Lions, they have a Gust and Burst damage to try to deal with the Slark Magic Missile and Grave Chill to a lesser extent, though those probably won't be sticking on the Slark for very long. So Illidan is going to be running around with very few answers from the Lions side, and well, farm Slark is just generally hard to answer, so it will be very difficult for Lions to do it. What they're doing the correct thing, though, they're going to try to abuse the advantage that they have right now and try to gain some towers. They're going to go for the Timber Saw towards top, relocated in an Illidan Stormmage. Jonas Fan going to try to turn around for Phobos, will just fall short. He's now getting chased down by the Slark in a corner. Thunder God's Wrath will secure the kill in the end, but it will be a kill for a tower. Lions don't give away their Timber Saw for free.
No, I think that's completely worthwhile for Lions, but now with the blink forward, Illidan looking to find a target he can stick on, but won't do so. Pounces his way to dodge a Magic Missile, double, triple hoof stomp by Mag, but no follow-up, no swap back into the Troll Ranger, and a Soul Assumption to the face. Going to be the Centaur losing his life as well.
Man, that looked so great for Mag until he realized that he was all alone. Like, VP, they burned most of their payload already, and they don't really want to fight all the way out there. As nice as it is to have initiation like that, there's no reason to fight that far away from any sort of tower support. In fact, you're closer to the enemy towers than you are to your own. So buyback reinforcement or just reinforcements in general going to be a little bit longer to come by. So Lions, they take a couple of kills, they take a couple more towers, and right now they're doing pretty well. They're abusing the fact that they do have so much extra damage, and Drow Ranger is not really being answered by Virtus Propolar. They really need the Slark or someone to get right on top of Era and then shut down all the damage output from Lion. So far, not happening.
Invis Rune on the Timbers might be able to find something, but does need to be careful. If DK Phobos is dropping some random Thunderbolts to D-Ward, could get completely spotted out. For now, Timbersaw really hasn't been able to pick up that much farm, but still doing quite a bit of work with the levels he finds. They do get a Blink Pounce onto Seal Kid, but don't bring him down fast enough. He'll be able to swap out. The IO balls are going to be enough, but now Lil completely turned upon by the Timbersaw is going to be ripped to shreds. IO is a strength hero, and Whirling Death does do quite a number. Right now, they find the Centaur on the sidelines. Double multicast on the 8-Mother. TP attempt from FNG is going to be denied by Stomps. No! Survives inside the base with just a fraction of his HP left. Jonas Sunfan not able to connect with the Centaur either. Oh, kind of awkward as they go for both of those kills instead of just settling for the guaranteed Ogre one.
Well, it was a 1-for-1 in the end, support for support. So even though it looked like Lions should have gotten that kill, familiar stuns do take a little bit longer to come out than sometimes they feel like. So it's going to be VP Polar surviving for now, but they still are not out of the clear just yet. They have to worry about this pretty deadly push going down the bottom lane. Timbersaw is pretty decent on mana, and Hanskin to find Mag to start things off. Not ideal, but they will force the Mag right into the lane, which is exactly where they want him. Now with Frost Arrows plus the Gust, Era really has to be careful. It's going to be 8-Mother to take the heat first. Illidan jumps onto Era, Thunder God's Wrath onto everyone from Lions, swap out onto Era, trying to keep this Drow Ranger safe, but you can't really do that. Hanskin's going to try to kill off Illidan in the meantime, but a short relocate out, Illidan's going to be just fine. Now Jonas Fan getting beaten down by FNG. The Ignite is there. Going to throw out one more Chakram, which will get the kill, but it's going to cost him his own life. Hanskin now completely surrounded. Seal Kid being chased down by Lil. The ball's not quite going to do it as he jumps back the IO, but it will be Hanskin to fall eventually, and also Zeus picks off the Vengeful Spirit, and VP Polar take another massive fight.
And this is really huge for them. VP Polar are really starting to run away with this game. Even though the map control is falling around them, they currently have an advantage and towers to take on top of it. They haven't taken a single tier 1, which is problematic for them. But right now, I just don't see a way that these fights are going to go any poorer for them. Illidan getting out there with the short relocate coming out from Lil was absolutely crucial in that last engagement to get Illidan back up to survivable amounts of HP, and was quite honestly a very impressive play.
Yeah, just a short kind of like half blink dagger relocate, and sometimes it's all you need. Just a little bit more space, a little bit more regeneration with Shadow Dance, and you're in the clear. So off of that massive fight, they're going to try to go for a tower. It's not really going to work out. In fact, they're going to get double stunned on the way out. Hanskin going to arrive, but a little bit too late. Familiar's doing what they can, but just not enough. Lions, they are suddenly all assembled, or mostly assembled down in this bottom lane. I don't really think going for bottom tier 2 again is going to be the answer. at least wait until Era gets his BKB. Once he has that, he'll be able to kite back and not have to worry about the Zeus or the Pounce, but it's still a very sketchy situation being up against this much initiating power from VP Polar.
Pounce from Illidan is going to miss. No silence up, needs some help from the IO, needs it now. Is going to get healed up, and without any other follow-up, the Drow isn't going to be able to chase down this Slark. He'll make it out of vision, but now Lil might be in a whole heap of trouble. Chakram's going to miss, looking for the swap seal kit. It's only level 1. He'll be able to tether over, however, not all the way across the river. Now potentially in a bit of trouble as they get 1 Frost Arrow into him, 2 Frost Arrows. Stampede going to get him out to safety as Illidan reinitiates onto Era, dropping him low with the ultimate coming out from the Zeus. It's not going to be enough because of a defensive swap. However, the Ignite burn damage will kill off the Drow. Slark also gave his life for that. Relocate coming in from the IO. Is he going to be bringing back any buddies? Looks like the answer to that question is no. Although, now into the Chakram, IO is in quite a bit of trouble. Lil is going to be able to get the tether out. Magic Missile still follows him. He'll be brought down by the Venge.
They'll make it a 2-for-1, I suppose, in favor of Lions. Giving up your Drow Ranger is never really something that Lions want to be doing, but if they're going to take a Slark in trade, then I'm pretty sure they're a little bit more okay with that. However, VP Polar, I think they also could have stood a chance at reinitiating there, just knowing that the enemies are going to be doing a lot less damage in those types of quarters. Maybe you're going to want to make that play. Either way, it is going to be Lions to take a slight lead after all said and done, but it's maybe not going to be last for very long because Jonas Ben's going to get jumped on in the mid lane. Hoof Stomp, Double Edge, not quite going to kill off the Timber, but another Fire Blast, multicasted for good measure, and Centaur is going to make it an even trade overall. Now 30 to 18, and Lions, they're taking out quite a few of the VP Polar's towers, but it just doesn't seem like VP Polar care about that. They're just fighting perfectly well regardless of whatever gold disadvantage they may be, and it's actually a gold advantage for them because of the kills and because of the Hands of Midas.
Yeah, and that's really scary for Lions. Even though taking these tier 2 towers is nice, the real benefit of having it is that extra positional and gold advantage they give you to transition that to a high ground push. And right now, pushing high ground just doesn't seem that it's going to be on the table for Lions unless they take a couple really good fights, and they just haven't been doing that.
And what they need to have in a fight is just get initiation on their own terms, open up with a swap or a magic missile or something like that, familiar stomps, or now that they have a level 2 vengeful spirit swap, it'll be a lot easier to do that, but outside of that being jumped upon by the Slark, just causing that chaos at the very least is making it so great for VP Polar, and they're going to do it yet again. Multicasted, 3 Fire Blasts, and 8 Mother. Meching up, not going to survive. DK Bubbles can throw the ultimate as Illidan jumps in the back line. He's going to make short work of Era, throw it up into the air for now, but he's not going to be able to survive in the long run. Handskin going to try to kill off Illidan as 8 Mother does buy back, but a leap down to the low ground. Illidan's going to survive at double digits of HP, being regenerated up by Lil and the Shadow Dance in the meantime. Mag and FNG, they're running in the clear. They will be fine. IO relocate out a little bit too late to save the Timber Saw, it looks like, and FNG now awkwardly stuck here. Buyback from 8 Mother, worth it so far. Mag is going to think about reinitiating, but not into these 2 tanky heroes. It's still a numerically beneficial trade for Virtus Pro Polar. Though they do lose their Slark again, they show the power of their initiation, and they do force out the buyback from Razor.
Yeah, and that's completely fine for them. Timbersaw absolutely bailed them out. He might have been able to kill off Lil, but if they didn't get kill off that Slark, that could be a complete lane down, Tier 1 and Tier 2, if they're able to take it. And Roshan's available, and VP Polar can take it decently fast, although their sustain is pretty limited. Damage coming out from Slark is really nice to have, and they have the double mech heal as well.
And if they want to go for that, then fine. Otherwise, just stay the course and get the Slark a little bit more farm. Once Slark gets this Eye of Scotty, it'll be pretty much impossible for the Lion side to peel him off of the Drow Ranger. And if that doesn't happen, then suddenly Lions are not really doing that much. The buyback and I think the chaos that resulted as because of that buyback was really what gave them any sort of fighting chance in that last engagement. Just getting initiated upon, losing your Razor immediately is, of course, less than ideal. Hanskin will have his Aghanim Scepter very soon, though, and that is a very big item when you have a Drow Ranger on your team.
Right now, Hanskin is actually the most farmed hero on his team. He has it completed now, and that's all fine and good, but right now, Lions are currently forcing a Wu.
Yep, I got that too.
Okay. We're good. Either way, Timber Stomp towards top. In a lot of trouble with the Blink Hoof Stomp relocating in the Slark as well. They should be able to bring him down in a heartbeat. Does a lot of return damage, and the Chakram flying through will force out a mech, but that's a Timber Saw dying immediately after buys the Bloodstone. Now Ultimate coming out from Illidan, going strong into Hanskin, not doing enough damage, and will be forced to pounce away. Stampede to get out, but maybe get back in. They blow up the Visage. with no charges up in that Gravekeeper's Cloak. Does fall quickly. Now Air drop down to the ground. Will be defensively swapped by Sealkid. Era potentially out to safety. No, a Thunderbolt from DK Phobos is going to end his life. Now Illidan going to clean up another one. 8 Mother, the only survivor, is probably not going to be surviving for very much longer. He has a double damager and might be able to take one with him, but not going to happen. Mag is dominating. That's going to be a full 5-man wipe.
Man, that's like, what, the 3rd or 4th wipe of this game that I saw? I mean, this is not going to be a easy game for Lions by any stretch. The Drow Ranger had the Slark right on top of her as soon as they used that Stampede to reinitiate. Of course, there was VP Polar to initiate things to start out with, going on to the Timbersaw, killing him off. Yeah, he did a little bit of damage before he actually went down, but that's the type of initiation you want to start off with pretty much every single fight in every single game. Get the pick off and start the fight at a 4v5. So Virtus.Pro Polar, with their Blink Daggers, with their inherently more initiating-oriented heroes, they're just getting an inherent advantage just off of draft. And Lions, if they had that Tidehunter that we were talking about before, maybe things would be a little bit different for them. Having access to that Ravage or something like that. Timbersaw, at this point, just doesn't seem like he's cutting it.
No, he's not. Damage isn't the issue for Lions. It's that they just can't find a fight on their own terms. They don't have any way to force the issue and really make Virtus.Pro Polar take subpar engagements. They're able to completely push around the map wherever they want to, blink in with Slark, blink in with the Centaur. And now Illidan is looking really strong. With the Scotty already completed, from here on out, Illidan is only going to get stronger, and he's already pretty darn difficult to bring down with the backup from the heroes that are behind him.
And he's feeling mighty bold as well. He knows where 8 Mother is. He's going to snag the tower, though, instead. Io is coming in, and they're going to chase down this Razor. If a single hit with Io Scotty lands, and it looks like it will with the Stampede, then 8 Mother's going to be in a hell of a lot of trouble. There's a Thunder God's Wrath for good measure. Illidan in the Chalk Room now, but he's also in the Shadow Dance. He's going to not get the kill because of swap out from Sealkid. A hero so far, this Vengeful Spirit, but she will give her life for that Razor. Kind of her job, and it might not actually be a success because the Slark wants more. He's going to go for 8 Mother, will get that kill in the end. Now going for Jonas Fan, who will miss the Timber Chain out, but it looks like he will be fine to leave if he wants to. Illidan, he's playing this as aggressively as you can, but it looks like in the end he will decide to fall back. Sealkid has been doing a remarkable job on the Vengeful Spirit, but it just isn't enough.
It's really not. The Io relocates the Zeus back into the rest of the team, and that's your complete Aghanim Scepter now on the Zeus. After the Yules and the Blink, DK Phobos has been having a really good time this game. 8-2-19 on this Zeus. Only getting less assists than the Slark, and I suppose that's completely warranted. They'll take the tier 1 tower down in bottom and put some pressure on the tier 2. Now looking at jumping on Jonas Sunfan. Fire Blast is going to be fogged out. It's the Timber Chains across the ravine. And for now, Virtus.Pro Polar are going to be forced back, but now they're starting to take the towers, and the advantage really is incredibly clear for them.
And it's going to be a little bit more clear, I feel, with Virtus.Pro Polar's ability to initiate and their power levels of the heroes right now. They're going to be feeling more than comfortable to wander around the enemy side of the map, and they also have perfect vision, or they had perfect vision to do so. One Sentry Ward, getting rid of an Observer over in the mid lane, but that's just about it. Everything else that Lions do is more or less spotted. This smoke is going to be hidden, but the best case scenario is they run into FNG, and it's an Ogre Magi. It's a support for Virtus.Pro Polar. That is probably the best case scenario for them, and Ogre Magi is going to blow the smoke and also get a lot of distance. Maxed out Bloodlust plus Yule Scepter, doesn't have upgraded boots, yet he's still moving at 446. He's going to get swapped back. He has the team right behind him, but do they have initiation this time? FNG going to get relocated out. Very short by Lil, but this is just going to bait Lions into a fight where Virtus.Pro Polar are going to initiate because Mag is on the high ground and they see Era. Thunder God's Wrath going to whiff because Era has the BKB. They will drop Sealkid very, very low, but Mag is Stampede to get the hell out of there. Lil also going to relocate back with Illidan this time. Going to try to go for Era. At the very least, will cancel out that marksmanship. They will kill out the Venge and the Razor both at the same time. Illidan running out of BKB will fall back with a Crimson Guard on himself. In the meantime, FNG 100% occupying Jonas Fan's time. They will kill off the Drow Ranger in the end, and Illidan's going to get yanked back to kill off another. They're going to find Jonas Fan on the retreat. FNG was 1v1ing the Timbersaw the entire time, and that's GG.
Yeah. It's very weird to see a game over without any tier 2 towers taken by the team that wins, but that's exactly this type of game. Virtus.Pro Polar taking good engagement after good engagement, and it just didn't work out for Team Lions. Usually they play really well around this Drow Ranger, but they weren't able to transition those tower pushes into one team fights, and the gold advantage that they had really didn't show itself because there really wasn't an advantage since they did lose so many fights. Either way, we are going to have more games coming up shortly. We'll have to see if Lions are coming back. They're fighting for their tournament lives here on the lower bracket finals.